Hi, welcome to I Love the Library. I'm Mary Haney, Director of the Detroit Lakes Library, and we are actually in the Detroit Lakes Library. The library is a branch of Lake Agassiz Regional Library, and that's where all of our materials come from. I just thought I should mention that today as a little reminder. Today we are going to talk about books being made into movies. This has been going on as long as movies have been made. A lot of books are turned into movies, and this fall is no exception. There are a lot of great books coming out as movie version. The first one we're going to talk about is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. The movie version is starring Keira Knightley, and it should be a beautiful period movie with a great costuming. It's written in 1873. It's set in Russia. This book has been described as the best novel ever written. Now, that's not my description of it. That's the description of many, many, many professors of literature who have described this as the best novel ever written. If you haven't read it, you really should read the best novel ever written, don't you think? I would like to start with just reading the first sentence. It is probably one of the most famous first sentences of any novel that's ever been written or translated into English. And it reads, "All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way." In fact, someone just quoted that to me very recently. I thought that was pretty funny. So Anna Karenina, read the book, watch the movie. The next book we're going to talk about is The Life of Pi by Yann Martel. The movie version is being made by Lee Eng. This book was one that it was on the bestseller list a few years ago for weeks and weeks and weeks. Many people have described it as impossible to turn into a movie, but somebody's trying. If you haven't read The Life of Pi, I highly recommend it. It's great reading. You'll enjoy it a lot. The next one is, the movie is titled Lincoln, and it's based in part on this book by Doris Kearns Goodwin, Team of Rivals. Steven Spielberg is making the movie. It's starring Daniel Day-Lewis as Lincoln. I've seen some photographs of Daniel Day-Lewis in his Lincoln makeup, and you wouldn't believe it was Daniel Day-Lewis, for starters. But Spielberg was making this movie when someone told him about Doris Kearns Goodwin's book, Team of Rivals. And so he read it and decided he really needed to incorporate some of this into his movie. And he hired Doris to work on the screenplay. So she's been helping write the screenplay and incorporating Team of Rivals into the new movie Lincoln. So I think that should be an outstanding epic to watch too, and of course a great book to read. This is nonfiction. It is a historical work. I think if you haven't read that one, give that one a try. The next one we're going to talk about is, the movie is called Jack Reacher, and this is a little bit controversial. It's based on a novel by Lee Child. It's based on the book One Shot, which is actually the 9th book in the Jack Reacher series. Now, what's controversial about it is that they've chosen Tom Cruise to star as Jack Reacher in the movie, and apparently Tom Cruise does not really fit the physical description that Lee Child gives of Jack Reacher in the novel. I think he's described as a very large man in the books. But watch for Jack Reacher based on the book One Shot. And then of course we have to have Les Miserables is coming out as a musical version. There have been other versions of Les Miserables as movies before, but they have been just dramas, not a musical. So this is Victor Hugo's Tour de Force. If you haven't read this, you really should. There are many, many, many elements and layers that you will not ever find in a movie, but read Les Miserables. And last two, real quick, the last episode of Breaking Dawn, the Twilight series for all the Twihards, that's the last movie in the series. And of course we have to talk very briefly about The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien being turned into a movie by director Peter Jackson. So lots of good books, lots of great movies. Come into the library and check all these great books out.